Hi, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Second Act Actors. I'm your host, Dr. Janet McMorty, and I'm still a medical doctor, simultaneously trying to pursue a career in acting. My guest this week is Kat Fury. Okay, is there a more perfect superhero name? Is there a more perfect actor name? She should also, consider a career in medicine just so she can say she's Dr. Fury, which is also another really great superhero name. Kat had a career in finance, then a career in tech, and now she's pursuing her lifelong dream of becoming an actor. Not only did she do a big career change, but she did a big geographical change when she decided to pursue acting. She was raised in Singapore and then moved to Toronto to pursue acting when she, again, made the decision to change her career path. We met in an acting class, I think, like weeks after she landed in Canada, maybe even days. And now I'm realizing I met her like right when she landed in this beautiful country. Oh my gosh, what a privilege. And we had lunch. We connected right away in this acting class. We went to Ava Val's comedy show. We got stuck in a parking garage because I'm an idiot and don't know how to navigate Toronto parking garages. Anyways, she mentions trauma bonding in this episode, and maybe that's what we did. Anyways, as you will soon hear, she has an incredible story to tell. Please enjoy the lovely and talented Kat Fury. I'm so excited to catch up, but I'm also so excited to hear your story. Because I know a little bit about it, and now I'm so excited that other people get to hear it as well, too. So yeah, tell me your story. How did you get into this crazy business?
Well, it was a journey. It's a journey. One that I avoided for a very long time. Let me tell you. How it started, it's kind of funny. Like, I was speaking to someone recently, and they were like, wow, like because I was talking about my first career. I worked in finance for like a good 12 years. And they were like, wow, from finance in Singapore, which is where I'm from, to like acting in Toronto. He was like, what, did someone die? He was like, or was it a break? They're like, what
One or the other?
Yeah, like something major had to have happened for you to like make this decision. But yeah, so I mean, to give you like the journey from the beginning, do we start at the beginning? Where do we start?
Wherever you want.
Yeah, so basically, if we're talking about like what I used to do, I mean, let's start from, maybe moving to Canada when I was a kid. Moving to Canada. Oh, okay, scrap that, sorry. Moving to Singapore when I was a kid. And like where my like love of acting started. Like when I knew I wanted to be an actor. So my family, we moved to Singapore when I was 5. I'm 1 of 4. So we ended up going to local school because it was way cheaper than international school. And, local school surprisingly didn't have a lot of theater. It was like very math, science, and English. And so, we basically didn't do very well in school there. And then my dad was like, okay, well, you can go, I'm going to build some villas in Bali. And the entire family can move over to Bali because international school was cheaper there. So we did that when I was like 11. And that was my first intro to any like theater because the entire school would be involved in 2 productions a year. And it was just like magical. I was like, oh my God, this is it. I just hadn't really been exposed to my theater until I was like, 9 or something in school. Yeah, and ever since then I wanted to be an actor. But I digress. Sorry. But yeah, so basically, I continued to do theater and stuff all throughout school, but I didn't do that well in high school when I went back to Singapore. And, when I was 18, I had the option. My dad was working in finance, and he was like, well, if you want to become a broker, you can do that while you figure out what you want to do. And, it was either that or pursue acting, which I was like, hey, I'm not going to make any money acting, and I don't think I'm going to be successful. I was like, I'm going to work in finance. So I did that. Yeah. So that's...
And then what was the shift? What happened? What was the big thing? Was it a breakup? Did someone die? What happened?
So basically, so my first like few years and working in finance, I still was kind of like in the back of my mind, I was like, I wanted to pursue something else. I was like, I didn't know who was going to be acting. It was just like something I was in finance. And I did, like, I emailed my high school teacher, and I was like, oh, like, I want to apply to some theater schools. Like, can you give me tips? And then I just, like, chickened out. I chickened out because it just scared the crap out of me. And then, so, like, nothing else seemed appealing. So yeah, I just stayed working in finance. And then, yeah, I went from finance to tech. So that was my first big career change. And I was like, I'm going to work in tech and I'm going to explore acting on the side. So basically, like, Singapore, it didn't really have much of an acting scene, like a big, like, acting community. There weren't that many classes that I could have taken. And so it just didn't really seem like something I could explore that much while I was there. I moved to London. I worked in tech, and then COVID happened. So I planned on taking a bunch of acting classes and stuff and exploring in London, which didn't really happen. But yeah, so basically I worked in tech, and then, I also just like didn't really feel like tech was me. There was I don't know if you could call it a breakup. I was seeing someone briefly, and then, he ended it. It's only over like 2 months. But yeah, there's nothing like a good rejection to make you like really look at your life and be like, what the hell am I doing with my life? I was like, I don't like my job. I don't have a relationship, and, I'm stuck in Singapore. Oh, so yeah, I had like a little bit of an awakening because I think I was really unhappy with my life. I mean, on paper, things were good. I think you can have like a good career, but still just deep down be like, none of this feels like me. Yeah. So I basically did they're called informational interviews. So any like career change tips that I can give, I would highly recommend those. If you're ever thinking about exploring anything outside of your own career, speak to people who are doing what you want to do. So I did that when I was in Singapore, and I spoke to this actress there, and she's like, okay, it sounds like you don't want to be in Singapore anymore. And it sounds like you want to explore acting, and you're Canadian. So why don't you go to Canada? And I was like, oh, alrighty, Canada it is.
And when did that occur? When did that happen?
So that was, it was last May that I quit my tech job. So that was a good, like, I basically avoided the dream. It was my dream since I was a kid. Since I was 11, I was like, I'm going to be an actress. I decided it was unrealistic at 18. And then, yeah, I kind of like shimmied around it until, yeah, I'm like 35 now. So last May that I quit my tech job, and I was like, I can't do this anymore. I need to like reboot completely.
And so you made the decision at that time to move from Singapore to Canada on your own?
Yeah. I basically, I just had enough. I just couldn't. Singapore felt like a little bubble. Like, I love Singapore. It's really safe. It's really clean. All my friends and family, like my parents were there and stuff, but I was just like, no, I need to like completely start afresh and shake things up a bit. Yeah.
So you land in Toronto, and it's funny because I'm like, that you and I meet like almost instantly, I feel like, when we met when you came here. Because I remember vividly like having lunch with you and being like, holy crap, what? So how did you build your acting career here? How did you learn what to do?
Oh my God, there's so much now that I think about it. It's crazy, like, how little you know from the outside, how little you know of the industry. I guess that's true of probably most industries. But, yeah, I've had taken like 1 or 2 acting classes in Singapore, and then some improv in London and stuff. But, yeah, I think like, you take a class, and so much of it is networking. Like, so much of it is like, you can Google to death, but like, it's once you take a class and you start speaking to other people and they recommend this class or that class, like, it's funny. I want to say thank you because, through one of your podcast episodes, I found Amy Linden.
Oh my God.
She's amazing. She's so good. And also, like, so I did her audition masterclass, and then I started taking her audition masterclasses every month. And I'm telling you, my self-taping, holy crap, like from, yeah. And also just like being able to connect with the character and all those other things. But yeah, to answer your question, oh my God, how do you start? There's just so much, isn't there? Especially now with like self-taping, all the stuff that you have to do and get and understand from a technical point of view. Yeah, I just started like taking lots and lots of classes. Like, I've read like, I think a lot of people who dream about, I don't know, I don't know if everyone does this, but I definitely did it. Whenever there was an actor that I admired, I'd just check them on Wikipedia and be like, what did they do? Like, how did they do it? How do I just copy their formula? Did you ever read Bryan Cranston's autobiography?
No.
It is so good. It's
Okay,
so
adding
good.
to my book.
Yeah. I mean, Bryan Cranston, he's an amazing actor.
Oh.
He also said, like, he made the decision when he was pretty young. He was like, I'm gonna pursue acting. And he's like, I just was voracious about taking as many classes as I possibly could. I mean, and that's all, and you just keep on doing that, and then you keep on auditioning. And, so yeah, I just took loads and loads of classes, Second City classes as well. So one of the reasons why I moved to Toronto is so that I could go to Second City because, I gravitate towards wanting to do kind of more comedic stuff. I feel like that's like in my wheelhouse. So yeah, I just wanted to be like Amy Poehler or Tina Fey. Or like Kristen Wiig. Oh my god. But yeah, just taking loads and loads of classes, auditioning classes and things like that. And yeah, it's just like piece by piece, kind of like adding different things to my skill set. But it was a journey. Like, yeah. And those online courses too. Greg Ash, he's a casting director in Australia. He has this amazing creating compelling characters course, which was like, so good. Oh, there's just so many.
Yeah. Now, since you've moved to Toronto and have gone like full into the deep end in this industry, has there been anything that has surprised you?
Yeah, I think it was surprising how hard it is this one. For sure. I think like God, actors make it look so easy on TV, don't they? Like, they make it look so easy. I just had no idea how much went into auditioning, like prepping just one scene. And now that I've taken more classes, just like, like how much you analyze certain lines or, like the backstory and everything. I just had no idea how in-depth it was, and how much work goes into like before you start shooting. I think also what surprised me is how supportive the community is. I mean, I don't know if that's a surprising thing, but that's something that's been so lovely, I think, is like all actors, I think, kind of cheer each other on. And, they also give you so many tips just from even being an extra, like you get so many recommendations for what classes to take, or, I got my agent recently in the last few months, and that's through another actress that I work with. And she was like, oh, my agent, she's great, and put me in touch. And it's just like night and day once you get an agent too. And also it's important to have the right agent. And I think I got really lucky on that front, to have like one that's like on my side, like very hands-on. If you're maybe one of the bigger agencies, maybe that's not the case. So yeah, I think it's just such a supportive community because I think it's like trauma bonding. I think it's just equally hard for everyone. Everyone's just kind of like, kind of cheering you on, which is really nice.
Yeah, absolutely. I felt that way as well too. And I think, and when I've talked to actors from all over the world, I think I hear that a lot, mainly from the smaller markets, right? From the Canadian market, from Australia, from some of my European guests, where we have to cheer each other on, because as soon as that stops and we're still trying to build as an industry, it's not going to function. Like, we're not at the ability to, like, we're not the LA or Hollywood or Bollywood where it's like, I don't know, it's almost like you have to earn the ability to be cutthroat, which sounds horrible because I hope we never get cutthroat. But it's like, no, you have to cheer each other on, because if we aren't cheering each other on, literally no one else in the world will.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like, that's 100% like how I feel.
Yeah.
And it's nice, especially I think like when you're first starting out, you're just like, it's just the sea of kind of like everything is just overwhelming and intimidating. So it's quite nice as well to have, especially more experienced actors be like, this is okay. Like, this is normal.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think it is a crazy industry. It's interesting, like, it doesn't feel like it's like the best time to be started. It's weird. Like, we're in this like streaming age where it seems like there's just so much out there. And yet it seems like last year, obviously there was the strike. And then this year, it seems like we're just like clawing our way back. I think one of my acting students, she was like, survive until 2025. And she was like, oh, people are also, there was like a rhyme for last year too. So it's kind of like, but it's okay because I'm just starting. So I don't know. Maybe it's I don't know, hopefully next year will be better in terms of the amount of work that's out there.
Mm-hmm. In the slow times, or when this industry or the career path that you're in now, when it gets heavy and discouraging, what do you do to keep going?
Like, I think it's really important for anyone. I mean, I wouldn't describe myself as like a working actor in that stage. I'm like so new to it. I just think you have to have something inside of acting, I mean, like generally to either, whether it be a hobby or an actual side hustle or, I mean, you have like a full-time job. But because I'm so early on in my journey, I'm also still trying to like reboot like the other ways of making, like, not reboot, sorry, just like start from scratch in terms of making any kind of income or kind of building all those different, you know, streams of income or whatever that an actor might need. So I have those to focus on when I don't have acting stuff to do. But luckily the auditions are coming in, so that's good. At least in terms of commercials, which are kind of fun and you know, I think also pay decently. If I ever book one, probably. But yeah, I definitely think just having other hobbies and interests and things.
Yeah, absolutely. And I had a quick question. Curious about when you decided to go into finance, and for a lot of second act actors, there was either someone or like someone in their life who said, that's super cute. You perform in front of everyone when you're a kid. You're in all the high school plays. Adorable. But that's not a logical career path. Correct me if I'm wrong. It sounds like you're the one who'd said that to yourself.
Oh, no, I think a lot of the time I do think it comes from parents. I think a lot of our subconscious decisions, it comes from wanting to please others. My dad was working in finance. And I think, you know, my parents were both great. They were always like, follow your dreams, do what you want. You know, of all the siblings got the same. Like, if you want to be a broker, go for it. My brother took it. I took it. My two sisters were like, hell no. But I don't know what it was. It might have been growing up in Singapore that was also a factor, because it just didn't seem like a very common career path to go down in Singapore. You know, so to go into the arts is not very common. And then otherwise, yeah, I think it probably would have been more inclined to do it if I didn't have that option to go into finance right there. And you know, 18 and you're like, oh, I wasn't the right studies. I wasn't the best teenager. Not gonna lie. So, you know, it was kind of like, you know, more studying and like exams. And, you know, also if I'd done really well in theater in school, I think I might have been like, I'm meant to stage. But no, I was in the IB program, International Baccalaureate, I got a 5, which is like bog standard. So I was like, it's not like I'm just you know, wasn't sure if it was nice being also the things that, you know, you're kind of like, I'm not, you know, like star pretty, and, you know, like my voice is too high and all these other things. My teeth aren't perfect and all the things basically. Yeah. So, but I think it was a mix of that and probably my dad, because I think subconscious, I think I don't know. Even like when he describes, one of my questions before was like, would your parents or whatever describe what you're doing now? And I was like, my dad would probably be like, oh, she tries to do anything that isn't actually work.
Oh, shit.
So it's kind of funny. It's like, these are things, I think these are just like fluffy things probably. I'm like, I'm working, I work. I just, you know, make pretend in my little audition room, but, you know, I could get paid eventually for it.
It's so interesting, right? It's like the career, and I say this phrase all the time in this podcast, and I'm aware of it, but like, it's the careers in whimsy, right? Where it's like, these are whimsical careers, and isn't it crazy that that's what you're doing for a living, and it's not real, it's pretend, and it's not doctor, lawyer, police chief. I think also because there isn't like a certificate program. Sure, there's post-secondary education you can do to learn how to act, but you don't need anything to become an actor. You don't need to be licensed or anything like that. Anyone can do it because it's frivolous and whimsical.
Exactly. Yeah. It's fine because I'm decided, like, as opposed to doing like post-secondary education or going to like a theater school, I was like, I'm going to do more classes and lots of different types of classes and things like that. And then like my other like university expenses, actually just like my basic living expenses, while I'm not like earning that much yet. I said to my dad, I was like, this is like my university, okay? Because I could just feel him judging me from afar. And I was like, I didn't go to university, okay? This is my university. I'm investing in myself. I'm doing these courses. Oh, I'll see returns someday.
Well, and I think, and this is very easy for rich people to say, I don't need to see return. It's all about the art. It's all about the blah. And you're like, no. We live in capitalism. Like, I need to make money to survive. And then also I need to make money so that I'm not surviving with my art. Like, I'm not relying on my art to survive, because then there's that desperation that plays into it. And that's not fun either. So you can't win.
Yeah. And I don't think Trump is going to end inflation. So
Yeah.
I think that's going to save us.
Oh, goodness. Okay, well, so you did massive transitions into the second act, like probably more than anyone I've talked to, like geographic transitions aside. Do you have any advice for people looking to change career paths into one in the entertainment industry or a more creative, whimsical career path?
I do, definitely, because, oh my God, it's been a journey. It's been like, I think I've been in the process of changing careers for a good, 5 or 6 years, because I would say initially I went from finance to tech. And I think it's, I wanted a better company culture. I wasn't ready. I mean, you can't just jump into acting and make money, so you need to have some other alternative career. So advice that I would give is to kind of that you don't have to do it alone, that I didn't realize when I was first doing all the Googling and looking at university degrees and things like that, just getting really overwhelmed with the options, is that, more than anything, that there are a lot of tools out there. I actually did a career shifters course, so careershifters.com, I think it is. It's in the UK. They do, I think it's 6 weeks or 8 weeks, and this was great. Career coaching is really expensive and pretty much the same, whereas this career shifters course is 2 months. You do it in a community, then you have the platform and the alumni to do these shift projects with. So the shift projects are basically look, you have lots of different ideas of what you might want to do. Maybe some of them are creative. I think the problem is that most people have things deep down that they are drawn to and that they want to do, but they're like, how would I make money? Because a lot of creative things don't make money. But the cool thing about that course is that it really pushes you to, follow what you liked as a kid, or follow your interests, little light bulbs everywhere that you see. Collate them, create little buckets of interest, and then find people to talk to that are in those industries, or reach out to people who really inspire you. You could even if you're an actor, just, send, Emma Stone on Instagram or whatever. She might not reply, but there's different levels of people to message, and they're it doesn't matter if people reply or not. You reach out to them, ask them for advice, ask them for tips, or, things like that. So a lot of it's just exploring, that there are lots of tools out there that, I didn't know about. So I think from a first step, at least, is exploring synthesis and looking at, speaking to other people. Sorry, it's long-winded. But not doing it alone is one of the main career change things. So reach out to people about it. Follow those interests that you think will never work, because they really push you to dream big, basically. Which I think if you want to be an actor, you're kind of dreaming big anyway. and following that dream.
That's, And so you had a career in finance and a career in tech. So for either of those careers, have you noticed you've brought any of the skills that you had into now your acting career?
I think a lot of the careers that I had, a lot of it was people based. People are oh, you worked in finance, you must be so good with numbers. And I was no, I was a broker. And so it was a very people centric job. It was very much about building relationships. And I think especially starting off so young in finance, I was kind of thrust into I was forming a relationship with people who are different cultures, different ages, different genders, all these different people. And you just have to make it work, and you have to, just kind of be able to build rapport with a lot of people. And I think for acting, that's what they say. If you want to make it far as an actor, obviously there's luck. There's skill, which you work on. And then there's, just being someone who people want to work again and again. So I think it's just being personable and being able to build rapport with anyone. And then I think another one would be being a team player, working in a team. Because I worked like almost always in a team with other colleagues where you can rely on people or work together. You know, especially as a broker, you're just working in a team. You're like closing these deals and trades like while the markets are open and stuff. So yeah, I think like working well in a team and being kind of a team player, so not letting people down, making sure that you're there on time. I mean, some of the stuff seems basic, but I don't know, some people struggle with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, it's like being a good employee, like being hardworking, going above and beyond, I would say. Like, whatever your role is, but like if other things are asked of you or if you see like anything else that you can do to kind of like, you know, just be a better team player. That's the other one, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's super helpful advice. I think, again, I'm going back to the fact that we have a baby little industry and it feels like there's so many actors out there. And yeah, there are a ton in Toronto, but also there aren't. And your reputation is the most important thing. It's literally the only thing we have in this baby industry as we're trying to develop like talent. When we have nothing on our resume, the only thing we have is our reputation. So yeah, don't be a dick.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. And especially it's like, you know, like when you start, if you're working in a big corporation, like you've got your job and generally you have to be pretty crass for people to fire you. But like if you're an actor, you're just constantly on the look. You're not generally mostly not going to land stuff that you're going to be on for years. So you're going to be looking for work again soon.
Yeah. So true. So true. Do you have any favorite moments from either times on set, on stage, or in class?
Ooh, a favorite moment. Yeah, I do. I think, well, one of the coolest things I really didn't do much in Singapore, unfortunately, but I did have a friend who was an actor and he asked me he had this like little murder mystery group and they ended up doing a murder mystery on the Orient Express from Singapore to Malaysia. Yeah. It was crazy. So this was a fancy old train. We had to dress, I can't remember. Oh, which one was it? Oh my God. It escapes me. I can't remember which one it was. But yes, we had to do each scene from carriage to carriage. And we were all like, yeah. And it was like this amazing, like 1940s kind of vibes. And, like we were all like dolled up and then, it was so much fun.
Yeah. That sounds so amazing.
Yeah, it doesn't run anymore. I think like that train from Singapore to Malaysia doesn't run anymore. So,
how long is that train ride?
I don't think it's super long. I would say probably an hour, somewhere between an hour to an hour and a half. I want to say, God, this was forever ago.
So you had to do like the same scene and then like the same scene.
The same scene back and forth. There weren't that many carriages. I think this was like a super old school train. God, this must have been 10 years ago. But yeah, I wouldn't say there were only like 5 or 6 carriages. So you just do one scene and then you go back. But yeah, it was super cool.
Oh my gosh, that is so neat. That is so cool.
It was unfortunately, I barely have any pictures, God, but, I have a couple at least.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Do you have anything that you are looking forward to coming up?
I do. There's actually quite a lot I'm looking forward to. This is just one thing.
Yeah. All the things.
There's a few things. So, well, I've been excited to be getting more auditions. I haven't booked my goal for the year to book one commercial. But since I got my agent, I haven't booked anything yet. We still have time. It's not 25 yet. So yeah, I'm looking forward to hopefully booking a commercial. I'm not jinxing it. Otherwise, I have a spin instructor audition tonight. So it's one of my side hustles. It's, fitness instructing / maybe spin instructing soon. Yeah. And then there's Second City Conservatory auditions next week.
Nice.
Yeah, which I'm kind of scared of because I don't know, improv is, I don't know, some people love improv. I found it hard because I think if you're an overthinker and if you get in your head, you can't, you just gotta like be a relaxed, like a loose person. But I know how important improv is, and so I want to like conquer it.
Nice. That's awesome. Is it in person?
It is in person.
Oh, so I did mine all virtual.
Did you?
Yeah.
And so did you do the conservatory? Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Okay, and then did you do anything after? Did you go on to main? No. What was the next? Oh,
I didn't.
How was it? Did you like it?
It was great. Yeah? I loved it. I kind of knew what I was wanting to get out of it, and knowing that like I didn't want to like go into their main company or audition for anything like that. I just knew what I wanted to get out of it. And it was, oh, it sounds so corny, but like it's the education of our history of comedy in Canada. Cause like you're like deep diving into like the archives of Second City and looking at like some of the historical stuff and like writing your own sketches and stuff like that. It was really, really interesting. And like I love improv so much. But like I know I kind of knew what I wanted to get out of it. And it was like, they're like, do you want to audition for anything? I'm like, no. That's not where my jam lives. Where my jam lives is like learning about how it all works. Yeah. Oh, you're going to love it. It's really,
That's
really
so
cool.
Mm-hmm. Well, if I do get in. I mean,
I'm sure you will. I'm sure you will.
Very rusty.
Tell me what it takes to be a spin instructor. What is that audition going to be like?
Oh, so have you done a spin class before?
I do. I have a Peloton treadmill.
Oh, okay. Oh, a treadmill.
Yes. I've done like random spin classes, but I don't know if I don't do them very often.
I see. Well, I think I had to prepare 3 songs of different like speeds because that's like, in class you got your like climbs, which is like, fairly steady pace. You got your jogs, which are a little faster in terms of how fast your legs are going. It's super interesting. It is quite technical as well, God. Spin has to do so much. Because there's this, I can't remember the name of it. It's Spotify something, but you can like get the BPMs for all of your Spotify playlists, which is handy because you're like, okay, I need like this song to be, anyway, to make a playlist. But I need to make 3 songs, so a climb, a jog, and a sprint. And then I need to, basically just make sure that I've got all the cueing down and, maybe some inspirational, motivational things.
I was
drilling happening.
Oh, no worries. Oh, it's more awesome. I asked you already about like your jobs in tech and finance turning into like what you brought into your acting career, but your acting career, bringing that into your spin instruction, like that seems very compatible.
Yeah. I mean, I think like one of the things where when I was deciding to go into acting, right, and I was looking at what I would do, like how I'm going to make money, I was looking at the different like possibilities for side hustles and things like that. And, I enjoy exercising and I love music. That's another thing as well. But I'm gravitated towards group fitness type stuff because it's very like performative. It's like kind of like a presentation. So yeah, I think, that's something that I was like, okay, if I'm going to make money do anything on the side, it makes sense to do that because it's bringing together things that I like and that I'm good at.
Yeah, it's hugely performative. It also sounds hugely like improv, and you're going to have your endurance to work on your voice, and then you have an audience.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and it's basically, I think, all tied into like what you said, when I was a kid, I was like a performer, right? Like I always wanted to perform. That's the only thing with this new kind of like path that I'm going down is that, I think like I love being on the stage. And so I think now that I'm doing more on camera stuff, I'm like, oh, I'm not getting that kind of like fix that I need in terms of performing. So spin will be good for that. I also explored stand-up comedy this year, which is another like me on stage, just me. And that feels more like, like kind of more of what I wanted to do. So that's why I want to explore a little bit more too. When I have time.
Well, do you have any final words of wisdom or advice?
I think, words of wisdom. I don't know. I think I held back for a long time because I was scared of failure. And, I think it just got to a point where I was like, life is short. You gotta I don't want to live with any regrets when I'm older. So my advice would just be to, if there's something that you're thinking of doing or something that's on your mind, then just go for it. Like, life is too short to hide from what you want and be scared. Yeah. So, and I think just one thing that I've learned this year, I think, is just, being all kinder to myself. I think I was so hard on myself. I'm, like many probably actors, I'm a perfectionist and, just the idea of like not being good enough or not being good at all. And I just took pressure off myself. And I think if you do that and you just kind of explore things with it not being a big deal either way. Like, either I'll fail and I'll learn something, or I'll succeed and it'll be great. Either way, you're taking something out of it and you are getting better. So I would just say, yeah, it's just, if you're unhappy in your job or in your corporate job, I would actually take the time to really explore what you might be good at otherwise. Because I think when I was in my finance job, I just had this feeling deep down. I was like, I know that I'm meant for something else. Like, this is not where I'm going to shine. Like, maybe I could be good at my job here, but it's not going to be fulfilling. So yeah, that would be my.
I love that. Now, your name, you want me to go by your stage name, Cat Fury, when I introduce you?
Yes, please. Yes.
Like a superhero?
Yeah, Cat Fury. Oh, can I add like a shout out section?
Yes.
Yes. Or like recommendation section?
Yes. Oh, I can ask you a question, then I'll just edit it all in.
Yeah. Awesome.
Okay, so you come to Toronto, you're trying to learn how this entertainment industry works. Do you have any recommendations for people starting into this industry?
Yeah. So I think I mentioned before about like, I just need to taking like tons and tons of classes and things like that. So there are a few, I already mentioned Amy Lynn being amazing. Definitely check her out. Jeffrey Seymour has an amazing podcast and book I also really, really enjoyed. I am a member of the Stage Milk Scene Club. That was probably the first thing that I joined. It's an Australian. It's Andrew Pearl and his team of people. But I found it on YouTube, actually, when I was looking for audition tips and stuff. And then he's got this entire website called Stage Milk. And I think it's only, I want to say $38 US a month. But you can submit 1 or 2 self-tapes. They have a theme for every month. And then you either work on a monologue or a scene. You submit a self-tape and they give you feedback. And there's also a bunch of master classes. They've got tons of scenes and monologues on their website. It's only $38 US a month. Like, you get so much out of it. And they've got 2 master classes a month where they like interview casting directors, and they've got all the backlogs. Anyway, so shout out to Stage Milk. I always recommend it to people. And then lastly, one of the biggest and kind of most exciting things, that I wanted to touch on is that I've been working with Sally Sampson at Represent Studios. And I think you were talking earlier about how artists shouldn't have to struggle. We shouldn't have to try and get income from like so many different sources and then kind of struggle to pay the bills and, so she created this company. She's an actor. She used to be, a radio DJ, and it's called Represent Studios, and it's where, she's helping with my personal brand. So I wanted to up my social media presence. So now I'm posting a reel a day on Instagram, and I've been kind of like, I feel like you want to get your name out there as an actor, but also I kind of just felt like I had a story to tell, and I wasn't telling it, because I'm at the beginning of my journey, and I was like, I want to bring people along with me and inspire people. So she's helped me do that. But more importantly, she is pushing me she's like, Kat, like, you need an income. She's like, you need an income. She wants to empower artists to become entrepreneurs. So you are not an artist. You are an entrepreneur. You're your own business. She was like, outside of acting, how are you going to make money? And so she's helping me with come up with my own fitness business plan. So that I can have an income that's not reliant on any acting jobs, because you can't rely on acting jobs. So I think if anyone's looking for branding help or social media help or just support in terms of how to kind of build a life as an artist, that's her baby. And honestly, I'm so happy with it. And she's also kind of like my therapist. She was so good. Anyway, Sally, I love you.
Thank you, everyone, for tuning in, and thank you, Kat, for being my guest this week. Thank you so much for your just pure joy and love for the entertainment industry, for acting, and just, for the craft in general. Oh, it sounds so pretentious. For the craft. I just so appreciate you coming on my podcast and sharing your story with me and with my listeners. I just so appreciate you. You're just so joyful. And I hope you all will tune in next week for another episode of Second Act Actors. Bye!